So we're in Clovis, California, and we're getting ready to set a toilet in the furthest hall bath. So it's got two sinks over there, tub shower combo on the right, toilet here. So the flange is going to be an adjustable PVC flange glued onto a 4-inch PVC riser with the adjustable ring. And you can see some corrosion, you know, here where it's broken through. Fortunately, where the bolt is right here, it's still in pretty good shape. We don't like these flanges because once water damage gets to those, they fall apart and you got to replace them. So anyway, just want to document the condition of the flange before we get started. This one looks like it should mount pretty good, and then we'll take another video when we're done. So we're still in Clovis, California, in the very back bathroom in the hall, the one furthest from the kitchen. And again, so you've got the two compartment sink there, not two compartment, but double lavatory sinks there, tub shower, fiberglass stall. And so these are Kohler Cimarrons purchased by the homeowner from Lowe's, straight out of Lowe's. We did replace the shutoff valve, and those are, I believe they're Matco, pretty sure, Matco quarter-turn shutoff valves. And be careful with the two of these bathrooms have plastic, the PEX pipe, and it looks like a Viga or something like that, and so it's plastic. So just you need to hold on to the valve when you turn it off and on. So you need to actually hold it as you turn this. Right now it functions real good because you know it's new. As the scale builds up from the hard water in here, you know, it becomes harder. So you want to really isolate this. You don't want to move this around back and forth too much. But anyway, so that's been replaced. I'm not sure why I have that all over the wall. I'll wipe that off. And the supply line is a Fluid Master 3/8 by 7/8 by 20 inch, and we get those from splyhouse.com. That's all we use is Fluid Master. Sometimes we'll use Brass Craft, but we like the Fluid Master gaskets. So that's good. That's brand new as well. So new shutoff valve, new supply line. The Kohler toilet again is a Cimarron elongated. I think it's the chair height. And the bowl is set very well. The floor is not level. When you hit this grout line, you can see the huge gap compared to back here where it sits nice and tight to the floor. And when you get toward the front, you can see how tall it's sitting off there. So we got a shim. You can see it peeking through right there through the caulking. And that's to support downward movement. In the front, again, you can see it peeking through the caulking right there just a little bit. That's another shim. And then, of course, I think around the side, you can't see it peeking through, but we have another one about right here, and then one towards the back. And the reason why is we want to make sure that any downward movement is supported by a hard plastic shim and not just the toilet at the bolts, because that wear and tear causes things to loosen up or break. So anyways, the bowl is nice and tight in this bathroom. It's caulked back in, and it's adjusted correctly, so it's filling correctly, shutting off correctly, and flushing correctly. And outside of that, this bathroom toilet installation is done. So we're still in Clovis, California. We're at the powder bath now. This is right next to the kitchen. And we did not take the first video, which documents the state of the flange, the closet flange that is part of the soil plumbing beneath the floor. It was a solid PVC 4-inch flange on there. Never been touched. We showed you the first one was an adjustable. It was PVC and steel with a powder coating on it in the back bathroom, so you can adjust the closet bolts around on the steel ring. This one was just solid PVC, so it's anchored to the floor correctly. That's great. Put some new closet bolts in. Additionally, of course, like we did in the other bathroom, we put on some quarter-turn shutoff valves, and this is PVC, or not PVC, but PEX pipe coming out of the wall. So be careful when you turn these off. Hold that valve still. Don't just twist against the plastic. You'll end up damaging something. So anyways, quarter-turn shutoff valve, and then a 3/8 by 7/8 by 20 inch long Fluid Master supply line up to the toilet, and another Kohler Cimarron provided by the homeowner. These are straight out of Lowe's, and we've got it adjusted correctly. So the toilet at the tank is filling correctly, it's flushing correctly, and then the bowl is, and then of course it's shutting down correctly. So that's good. We flushed it, run all the water down. We got it caulked back in. This one I think had one tiny little shim in the front, and that's it. So this one sits real nice to the floor. It's nice and solid. Outside of that, this installation is done. Okay, we're in Clovis, California, and we're getting ready to set this last toilet in the master bath. There was a repair down here on the solid PVC flange. You can see it underneath that white plastic. This side looks like it's in good shape, but if you flop over to the other side, you can see that the plastic is completely gone. It got snapped out of there, so you can see plastic right there. Nothing all the way around to here and then to this side. So where the bolt mounts, that got cracked off. So what they did is they just took, and we've done this, we've taken a flange, it glues inside of the pipe that's coming up out of the ground. And then additionally, you're supposed to take all of these screw holes, drill into the concrete, and put anchors to hold the flange down as well, not just glue it in. Well, you can see you've only got 1, 2 screws in. So 1 screw, 2 screw. The rest are missing. Nothing we're going to do about that. It feels pretty tight, so we're just going to leave it alone. And then we'll go ahead and get the toilet set and take another video when we're done. Take 2. We're still here in Clovis, California. We just finished installing the last toilet here in the master bath. So they've got the nice soaking tub, shower, and then of course double sink in there. This was the most difficult toilet to set. So dry run, we just put a single ring in there. We showed you the repair flange. They got a plastic flange that was broken. They took an adjustable flange that glues into the soil pipe, glued it in, didn't put any screws in, but what they also didn't do is the plastic flange sticks up about 1/2 inch above the floor, which leaves you, almost flush with tile, maybe a little bit taller. And what they did is they just glued down into it without cutting that top surface off, which means the new adjustable ring is too high. So when you go to set the toilet, what happens is you set it, the wax gets compressed, it squishes all the wax out, but the bowl does not reach the tiled floor. And so you've got a substantial gap around. So we pulled it back up, took the single wax off of there, and all around the toilet we've probably got 6 to 8 shims, maybe even 9. What you do is you come back in and you trace around the bowl. So down at the bowl, we set it, and then we take a pencil mark and we mark where the bowl is all the way around. And then we come back with our hard plastic shims, and I don't have any out, but they're just little wedges. I showed it to the homeowner. Little wedges, and you can see them poking out occasionally around the front. Anything where you can see in there through the white, that's a shim. But at some places it's not just 1 shim, it's 2. So what we had to do is we glue shims to the floor to get started. So the thickest part of the shim is probably 1/4 inch thick. And so we slide the shim into underneath the toilet, and where the pencil mark is, that's where we slide it into. So we shim all the way around, and glue it. We glue it down with caulking so they don't move around. Then we put a new fresh wax ring in, and then we set it down until it hits those shims. Well, unfortunately, not only is the flange too high, but the tile's not level, and so we ended up moving some around. We've got double shims around the back. And it's just real thick. You can see if you look at the base of the toilet how high off the ground it is. That caulking line is a good 1/4 inch thick to 3/8 of an inch thick around the front. It gets a little smaller around the side, as you can see, because it's sitting down tighter right there. But just to get it to where it was semi not moving around, there's a substantial amount of material down there. We're not thrilled with this. All you have to do, and this is kind of technical, but from a plumbing point of view, you have a closet flange, it gets glued onto the soil pipe, and then you put your nice floors down, then you set your toilet down to the closet flange. That's where the bolts come through, right there on the bottom. And what the plumber did the repair should have taken it's just a little inside out tool. It's a little mini saw on a wheel that you put in your drill, and you cut the whole top portion out all the way down to concrete, not tile, but underneath this tile all the way down to finished concrete. You cut all the old plastic out. What this does, it allows you to take the repair flange when you glue it in, and it allows you to push it all the way back down to concrete, and it keeps that flange nice and low so that when you put your wax rings in there, they don't squish out all the way. So the existing wax ring, there was maybe 1/16 of an inch of wax that was sealing from bowl to floor. So this one you're going to have to monitor. I mean, honestly, I'm not thrilled with the installation. Just before we get going too far, we placed the valve 1/4 turn shut off. For some reason, this is copper stub out and not plastic. I don't know why. But 1/4 turn shut off valve, 3/8 by 7/8 by 20 fluid master supply line. Kohler Cimarron toilet by the homeowner. So all 3 toilets are by them. So back to my little rant about the toilet. Please monitor this one. We had to move it around a bunch, back and forth, side to side, getting the shims in and out. Spent a lot of time on this one, and we're not completely satisfied with the overall installation. It is still, it's not rocking, but like I say, the flange is not anchored to the floor as per code and as per like proper workmanship. And so, you know, you get movement. You're pulling up on that steel. There's nothing holding it to the floor, even though it's glued into the old flange. The old closet flange. So monitor this for leaking. You know, when you move it around so much, if that wax ring gets, the seal gets broken, water starts coming out and you'll see it on your floor. We always leave a little bit of gap in the back down there where we don't put any caulking, and that's in the event that you have any water that wants to come out. It'll come out right there. So please monitor this last toilet. I mean, just take a look at it weekly and make sure you're not getting any water out of there. Make sure you're not getting any movement out of the toilet. And this is the master, so you know you have adult use in here, so it should be pretty gentle. You know, if you had if this was the guest bath or the one that the kids used, then of course you get all kinds of shenanigans going on that you don't know about. So just beware that this, you know, we're not as thrilled with this installation as the other two, but it's the best that we can do with what we were given. So anyways, it's installed, it's flushing correctly, it's filling correctly, and it's shutting down correctly. Outside of that, this installation is done.